Welcome to Stitch the Sketch video series. In this exciting creative journey, I'll be showing you how I draw on fabric using my sewing machine and thread. In episode 2, I'm drawing Aladdin's lamp. Over the weekend, I read Aladdin with my son, and as you can see, both son and mom enjoyed it. I already sketched it into my sketchbook and I have drawn it on my fabric. So now let's start sewing. I'm going to go over the outlines like I did in the previous video. As you can see, I'm tracing the outlines with my sewing machine needle and thread. This is quite a slow process, so I'm going to be fast forwarding the video in some portions, just to get along as fast as I can while showing you the important parts of the video. I want to add some detail to this part of Aladdin's lamp, so I'll go over it a couple of times just to thicken the threads there and highlight that part of the lamp. I missed that small portion and I'll go back and fill it in by stitching over it a couple of times. As I said before, it's okay to go back and stitch over your previous line of stitching. I don't like to cut my threads when I'm sewing because it takes time away from stitching. So I look for a continuous path to follow. So I go over the same lines over and over again just so that I can get to where I'm going. As you can see, I switched the fabric around several times. I like my destination to be in front of the sewing needle. I don't want it to be behind the sewing needle because then I have to crane my neck around the needle to see where I'm going. So I switched the fabric around to get my destination in front of me. And that's the beauty of free motion stitching. You can go in any direction and you can switch your fabric around easily. Because the presser foot is not clamping your fabric down. It's easy to move around. I love shapes that have a lot of curves, and that's what attracted me to this subject for episode 2. Aladdin's lamp has a very interesting shape. It actually looks like a teapot to me, and my son said the same thing too. It looks more like a pot than a lamp. Now that I'm done with this part, I'm going to travel back to the handle, the arm of the pot, and start stitching the outlines on that side. With this work, I decided to try out a different kind of stabilizer, and I'm using a heavy stabilizer in this one, and I think it's a little bit too heavy. Next time I'll dial it down and use a medium weight stabilizer. I'm done with the outline, and now I'm going to go and add some swirls to the spout of the pot to make it look like there's steam coming out of the pot. I didn't sketch this on the fabric, but I can easily add it from memory. I'm going to do maybe 3 swirls. I think 3 will be enough. Well, now that I have done 3, I think I'll add a couple more. I think I can squeeze one in right here, and maybe another one. All right, I'm done with the swirls, and I'm going to start shading. I have decided that my light source is shining directly on the front of the pot or the lamp, however you want to call it. So the edges of the lamp are going to be very dark, and the middle part of it is going to be the lightest part. Although I want to shade the edges dark, this part that I'm doing right now, I'm not going to go straight ahead and shade it dark. I'm going to do light shading first and cover the entire surface of the work, and then come back and do a second or third or fourth pass at it. And the reason why I do it that way is so that the structure of the work will be sound. If I focus on only one side of the work and start shading it so dark, the other parts that have no stitching will start having drawing where you see the fabric puckering around the part that is heavily shaded. So I'm going to cover the surface of the work with light stitching first, as much as I can. And then when I am done with that, I'll come back and add some more stitching and densely shade the parts that I want to look dark. Now I'm adding some decorative stitching right here. And I'm going to start shading, as you can see, back to where I started initially. Sometimes it takes me a moment to think about where I want to go next. And so you can see that there are times when I just pause, thinking about what to do and which direction to go. Shading involves a back and forth motion with your sewing machine. You move the fabric back and forth as the needle goes up and down. And as you can see, I did the same thing here again. I shaded it lightly and then I went back over it and added some more stitches to it to darken it. And I continue adding stitches to the part that I had previously stitched because I want those edges of the part to look very dark. I have covered the body of the part with stitches and now I'm adding some more shading to the base of the part or the lamp. And as you can see, I have left room in the center for where the light is shining on the lamp. I continue to add some more shading and decorative stitching. Now when I'm done with the base, I'm going to travel back to the arm of the part and add some stitching to represent shading. You'll notice that my shading echoes the shape of the part. When I'm shading a curvy place, my lines are curvy. When I'm shading a straight shape, my lines are straight. You have to make your stitches either curve or go straight to mimic the shape that you shaded. Now where do I go from here? I'm going to travel to the top and shade the top before I go to the arm. Sometimes I just need to rest my hands and my shoulders a little bit before I continue. And it's okay, you can rest and reposition the fabric for your own comfort. You don't have to keep going and going and going. As I'm shading the top, I'm thinking about the next place to go. And although I decide on where to go as I'm shading, I might change my mind when I'm done shading and go somewhere else. So here I am. I'm shading the arm of the part or the handle of the part. If you get tired, you can stop and take a break and come back and continue. You don't have to finish it all in one sitting. And now I'm shading the other side of the handle. I'm almost done, almost there. Now I'm traveling to the base to finish it up. I finish it up by signing my name. So here you have it, Aladdin's lamp sketched on fabric. This is the front and that's the back. Thanks for watching.